Testing. Just making sure all the equipment is running correctly. Craig, for the record, can I have your full name and title, please? And are you medically or legally trained? So why are you not willing to provide your full name? For legal purposes,
good girl, Molly.
By law, I need your name. Okay, you do realise that is on record and could be held against you in court of law? Yes, I understand. Okay, 1 second. Craig.
Hatching.
Molly, have you taken record of that?
Get him, Max.
Okay, Craig.
Hatching.
If you're not willing to provide me full details, you'll
I love it.
if I'm not 100% with yourself.
No, that's okay.
Hatching.
Craig, before we go any further, can you also tell me if there is anybody else present in this?
You're fighting. Hatching.
There is just you,
Hatching.
nobody else in the room, and there is
Fight
nobody
it.
else monitoring the call by any other method.
No, nobody at all.
Okay. I'll have to accept that 1 second. But I've got audio recordings and emails rolling back to 2022 when I've been misled by your whole team, and in that time the NHS has provided a partial subject access request, which in that subject access request all data was withheld from the community mental health team, which is NHS, is it not? Okay, so can you tell me why I got half the subject access request?
No, I can't provide that information for you.
So legally you cannot back up why your department is withholding legal information that is entitled to by law.
We don't deal with subject access requests.
But the NHS,
I think I explained that to you in email.
but the NHS is the NHS, and by law, any which way it is sent to you has to be taken seriously, whether it goes to the wrong email address, the wrong person, as long as it's titled to the correct place, it must be dealt with as necessary.
Mr. We'll jump onto the subject access request.
I'm just doing some background research while you're on record.
Okay, let me explain the subject access request. So I need to know whether your subject access request.
You don't need to explain it to me. I have thoroughly examined the law.
So you're incorrect as to the fact that you need to involve the 5th of August if you send it to your passport. That means you could have sent any email address.
By law,
Mr. Whitberg, can you let me finish, please? You did not send an email on the 5th of August to the NHS email address.
it says, yes I did, and if I didn't, how have you been replying to it?
Because you sent it to me on the 22nd of August. You forwarded it to me on the 22nd of August, and
I sent you a copy,
Take it from there.
and the email address that subject access request was sent to was a legitimate email address that I pulled off a NHS website, and on top of that, I have several audio recordings of asking doctors, nurses and departments, and it seems very strange that you actually managed to send me a partial subject access request. So if I'd been doing it along the wrong, inexistent email addresses, how on earth did you manage to not only reply but supply a partial?
Okay, so I think it's mentioned at the start of the conversation, I can't talk about previous subject access requests because I've got no records of any previous
But
subject
that
access.
isn't that's down to the NHS.
So we've been having this conversation every single time I try to speak to you, you interrupt.
But if every time I try and explain, you try and divert, that is absolutely no different.
I'm not trying to divert at all. I'm trying to explain that I have no record of the subject access request.
But I have got audio records.
Mr. Whitburn, you're doing it again. I think this is the last time I'm going to say it. You're not going to let me finish the sentence and I'm going to end it.
You do realise this call is being recorded,
I do, yes, I do.
and you do realise that this call is also being run through a legal AI model that covers every law in the United Kingdom.
I don't realise that. Maybe it was a fact.
So I'm fully aware of my rights. So what is the call regarding today? Because I've been placing complaints and reports since 2022.
Okay, so I've got a record of your complaints from July 24th, September 24th. I called today to apologise for the delay in responding to complaint ID 25622 to reassure you that it's under investigation and we're going to get a response to you soon. And that's fair reasons. Well, you will get that response. That's the first point. The second point was about the subject access request, just to confirm that we will be logging in on the page that I negative office, not the login.
Well, let me just stop you there, because I have audio recordings, timed and dated, stretching back 3 years. So to say that you're holding it from this one, completely, you have just incriminated the whole process for the NHS.
So what I said was that to access the government of those often doing something that is already made. What I said was I have, as you can probably appreciate, it's quite diverse organisations within different departments.
No, it sounds like diversion tactics that have been used against me to hold me responsible for being angry and upset by the way that not only my legal requests have been dealt with, but also my own personal experiences have been dealt with.
Yeah, I'm sorry you made that.
I'm sorry, but that is gaslighting, for one. For two, considering the complaints that have gone through, I have been accused of my dead son, disabled daughter and whole life being a paranoid delusion to the effect where you've nearly had me sectioned twice, you had me sent to prison for 10 days when a judge ruled in court that I was to have a mental health assessment, to which in transport that was turned into a 10-day prison stretch with no mental health assessment, and also had all my rights withheld. I was not allowed to make any telephone calls to legal, medical, friends or family, and from that, in court again, the NHS tried to have my freedom taken away again so you could try again. And inside of that, a woman who was my last complaint, Laura MacDonald, called me up and agreed a path that we were to take. I am a disabled man, which seemingly you lot have omitted from my records. People tell me on one hand, oh, we have your records in front of you. And it's like, well, why are you discriminating against disabilities? And they're like, what disabilities? I said, the disabilities that I have been diagnosed with, being moderate to severe chronic fatigue, ME, moderate to severe fibromyalgia, and trigeminal neuralgia, for which all the people that I have spoken to have no record of that. Inside of that, I've been told that you've had my records in front of you, and nobody has been able to provide me with the details of where such a fairy tale has appeared from. I have just been punished by the mental health team for standing up for my rights and getting upset for my dead son that I had to, me and my partner had to make a decision at Stepping Hill Hospital in Cheshire, down the road, to make him born asleep because his inner organs did not develop and he had cysts where there were organs. Now, I had your team accuse that of being a lie, and then when I got angry and upset, you weaponised the police against records in front of you. And it's like, well, why are you discriminating against disabilities? And they're like, what disabilities?
But I don't know how you expect me to respond to that statement.
Well, I don't know how you lot were expecting me to respond to that statement.
Mr. Whitburn, you're doing it to me again. What I was going to say was I explained that my call today was about complaint by 562.
That means
I
nothing
don't have
to
any
me.
information on a previous
That means nothing to me. I've made several complaints and seemingly you're calling me about one particular complaint. What about the complaint about Laura MacDonald, who made, which was my last complaint, who made an agreement to have a telephone call, a video call, or people attending my property. Now bear in mind, those people had a meeting without me and without my GP and decide that my whole life was a paranoid delusion. Now inside of that agreement, they interfered with my private medical treatment, had my private medical treatment stopped, and were trying to force upon me, what are they called? Antipsychotic drugs. Now, do you know what happens when you give antipsychotic drugs to somebody who isn't psychotic?
Mr. Whitburn, like I mentioned at the start of the conversation when you asked me if I was clinically trained, I'm not clinically
Well, I'll tell you. A quick Google search will tell you. If you force antipsychotic, you're talking over me. You've had a go at me doing the same, and now you're talking over me.
I've clarified why I called, and it's not here about antipsychotic drugs. I don't know if that forms part of the original complaint. It doesn't appear to, as far as I can see, with the correspondence that was sent to me. If that forms part of the complaint that's open just now, but that's why I was calling just to apologise for the late response. Anything else, to be honest, I can't deal with.
Well, the seems
So
to
I
be
don't think
constant.
that's a good use of your time or my time.
There seems to be constant mishandling of not only the law but my well-being. Can you define to me then what gaslighting is?
No, I'm not intention to that. Mr. Whitburn, you do have, if you, in previous complaints, have you been given details for escalating any concerns you have in terms of the complaints process?
I have spoken
Have you
to.
been given details of the Scottish Public Services Office?
I have spoken to the SPSO. I have spoken to the ICO. I have spoken to the Patient Advisory Service. I've spoken to nearly every single charity in the country.
So you've got those details to hand. I'm pleased to know that you have those details if you want to escalate either how it previously been dealt with or how this complaint is being dealt with if you've got the contact details.
My next escalation from here will be to publicly display all the recordings dating back to 2022 of the NHS evading legal requirements.
Okay, I think that's done for just now, Mr. Whitburn.
I don't think it is. You called me and there was no specifics in any of these emails what this telephone call was about other than complaints. So I'm trying to give you on record the complaints that I have to hand. Going back,
I can tell you that anything over a year old would be time barred, so I can't take any no value in that.
going back to Laura MacDonald, if I can.
It would be that would be time barred. The complaint that we do have open just now was notified to us by the operation unit. I think you have the details of this or you certainly suggested that you have all the further to do with Laura MacDonald mentioning just now.
No, she was an absolutely horrible person. She made arrangements. Sorry, can I finish? Because it is relevant. Laura MacDonald said to me, we will do a telephone call. I said, absolutely brilliant, thank you. But there is one problem. I said, I am halfway between upstairs and downstairs, and because of my medical condition, I suffer with brain fog and getting dates and times mixed up, and I requested to Laura MacDonald if they could send me an email reminder, a postal reminder, and a text message reminder. None of those were sent out. So the actual day, bear in mind, she told me when I was in the Midland, I said, Laura, I need to have something that I can look at and see and manually pin to my door. It's different with you because we've been harassed by email after email after email, diversionary tactics. Laura MacDonald was asked, which you'll have if you record your messages, she was asked to provide a reminder, not just telling me over a telephone when I'm in the middle of nowhere, no way to write it down. She was asked to send an email, a letter, and a text message. None of those were sent out. So when she called me out the blue, I said, Laura, I am not prepared. I'm in the middle of I have no idea. I said, Laura, I don't think it's fair. I said, for one, I'm prescribed diazepam to help me relax at times when I need to. I said, I want to have that in my system so we can go through things a little bit more relaxed. I said, and I need to have all the evidence around me that helps my case. She agreed, but they did none of that. Called me out of the blue, caught me off guard. I said, Laura, I've not got my recorder ready, I've not got the computer ready, I've not got any of my evidence ready. And she said, oh no, don't worry. it's fine, we'll make another appointment. So I said, oh, thank you very much, I appreciate that, I'm really sorry. I said, but like I told you before, without anything physical, there's nothing I could say. It was completely out of my head, and she reassured me that they would reschedule. Now, 2 days later, dropping onto a Saturday, I get a letter through the post with emergency highlighted in capital letters all over it, stating that I must attend an appointment at Wick Hospital for a psychological assessment, the one that we both prior agreed to do over a telephone. I then spent, on the Saturday, I made a legal statement to which I sent to my solicitor, I sent to charities, and I placed online requesting that they put it back to how it should be for several reasons. One reason is there is umpteen people, including all those in the meeting that decided my life was a lie. None of those people identified first name, second name, nursing or doctor registration numbers. So they were expecting me, with my disabilities and all the grief that I've had from the public because of this, to make my way into a place where I don't know anyone, anything, and I don't know which of the people in that meeting were the predators that had caused the problem or were sat there pretending to care. Not only that, I could not record the situation. Alien environment where I wouldn't have the confidence to be myself. I'd be under massive lights in a clinical environment that you guys might say, oh, a hospital's safe. To me, a hospital is no longer safe because I've been lied to, gaslit and abused, and as said before, several members of the Caithness mental health team have broken the law by withholding any form of identification that I could use against them to make a complaint. So then Laura MacDonald, I then spent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and half of Thursday ringing everybody I could in the NHS to try to explain why I couldn't get there, why I didn't feel comfortable being there, and why I did not feel comfortable talking to anybody who hadn't previously identified to me, which is a legal requirement. Now everybody took that message, yet on the Thursday, when the call was due, there was no call. They moved to call the police as a failure of what was agreed in court, yet prior, they moved the goalposts, not me. I agreed on the initial telephone, video, or call to the door. They moved the goalposts, and then when I said I cannot do it because of my health, along with everything else, which is disability discrimination, they moved to have the police to my house. The police attacked me. I not only had 2 police officers, but they sent a police tactical team who threw me.
Good girl. Good girl, Molly.
The cuffs on that tight nearly broke my wrists, cuts and abrasions. I still have one hand where I have no feeling or little feeling at the bottom of my thumb. Taking pictures of all the damage,
Patching.
and then they had me dragged to a police station, strip
Kitty Max.
searched, left in box boxer shorts, or
It's a
I had
bad
to wear
string.
the the anti-suicide
I love
suit.
it.
They held me overnight. In the morning, I woke up. Well, I didn't even go to sleep. In the morning,
Bad
the
string.
cell had blood and feces all over the toilet that
Good
wasn't
dogs.
mine. And then they had a police officer dangling my
Molly, bite it.
medication
Bad string.
in front of me.
Bad string.
And all I
Bite
asked him
it.
to do was take
Good
a
girl.
photograph of the blood and feces that wasn't mine. He refused to take a photograph and blackmailed me with my own medication.
Get him.
And you wonder why I'm angry. Why is Anthony angry and upset? He got his whole life. In fact, let's go back earlier than that. I had doctors.
Mr. Whitburn,
No, this is valid. I'm sorry, but this is valid.
You can put this on your tape as well. You can put this on your tape. I'm really not interested in hearing anything about what you've mentioned just now. What you discussed just now sounds like a police matter rather than an NHS matter.
Back to the NHS.
That's the correct route.
Back broke my wrists, cuts and abrasions. I still have one hand where I have no feeling or little feeling at the bottom of my thumb. I've taken pictures of all the damage, and then they had me dragged to a police station, strip searched, left in boxer shorts, or I had to wear the anti-suicide suit. They held me overnight. In the morning, I woke up, but I didn't even go to sleep. In the morning, the cell had blood and feces all over the toilet that wasn't mine. And then I had a police officer dangling my medication in front of me. And all I asked him to do was take a photograph of the blood and feces that wasn't mine. He refused to take a photograph and blackmailed me with my own medication. And you wonder why I'm angry. Why is Anthony angry and upset? He got his whole life. In fact, let's go back earlier than that. I had doctors.
Mr. Whitburn,
No, this is valid. I'm sorry. This is valid.
you can put this on your tape as well. You can put this on your tape. I'm really not interested in hearing anything about what you've mentioned just now. What you discussed just now sounds like a police matter rather than an NHS matter.
Back to the NHS.
That's the correct route.